guys, day 7, we've got a straight run back to Sydney, but we've got one stop first, and that's in Collector. Take the freeway to Gunning and go south to Collector, or the River Road, which we're going to take. Thunderbird Motel, guys, that was a mad stay. I loved it. That room was sick. Anyway, so we're going to take the long way there. Hopefully we'll see some scenery on the way too. You know how much we love the freeways, so we're taking the back roads. What a nice ride. The scenery is fantastic. You're going through farms, there's rolling hills all around you, a couple of roadworks, but that's all right. Gas River Road, heading towards Lake George. We're gonna turn left before we get there and make our way to Collector. The Bushranger Hotel is our destination. That's the final piece to the puzzle that we need to get. Well, there's actually one more back in Sydney. This road's not too bad, but there's a lot of loose gravel, so we've got to take it easy a little bit. But I think it's sealed up here. Oh, so we should be alright. Oh shit, this road is shit. Little potholes everywhere. Oh, here comes a car. Better than sitting on the freeway not seeing nothing. Look, there's horses down here. Oh, I think we're lost. I gotta check the map. These are the joys of not having GPS on your Harley. No reception. This is where we are. We're gonna go straight up this road. Man, this is the real long way, eh? We could have gone on the freeway, gone to Gunning in like 40 minutes, and this is gonna take a couple of hours. And there's storm clouds in the distance. How nice does a dark horse look with a background like that? Definitely some photo opportunities. Ben Hall came through this way. We're going through this way. Alright guys, I'm just going to say this quickly. Check out this view, man. I think that's Lake George down there, you know, on the way to Canberra. Anyway, I just want to say, even though these roads are shit, these are exactly the kind of roads that bushrangers would have taken to get away from police. They would have known all the little back ways and collectors down that way, and we've still got a bit to go. But look what I found. Check out this view, man. That's the federal highway that goes to Goulburn. How mad is this, eh? We're a masked rider on a dark horse. How can we not take these back roads? Alright guys, check this out. I'm in front of the Bushranger Hotel. Got the bike park there. Over here there's a memorial of Constable Samuel Nelson. January 1865. Ben Hall, Johnny Gilbert and John Dunn came to this hotel to raid it. Now, they posted John Dunn outside to keep watch.
watch while Gilbert and Hall went inside and see what they could find. I think they got a double barrel shotgun, actually a couple of guns. So what happened was, the town's only policeman, Constable Nelson, was alerted. He started to make his way down here, right? He actually came up from the south side and made his way to the hotel. John Dunn grabbed his rifle and told him to stand, but Nelson had to do what he had to do, so tried to take a shot at him, but Dunn got the shot off first, and actually killed Nelson. The sad thing about this, guys, is that Nelson had 8 kids, left 8 kids behind, and here's the memorial right next to the hotel that kind of tells you what happened. Constable Samuel Nelson was shot dead on this spot whilst in the execution of his duty by the outlaw John Dunn, January 1865. His last words was, "Have to do my best." Sad thing about this is that after that day, little did they know that that was going to set forward some events that was going to lead to the end of the gang. So what happened was, because after this, the Felons Apprehension Act came into effect, which was going to render the gang outlaws within 30 days. You know, so that meant that anybody could grab their gun, and if they spotted them, they could just shoot them, take them down, claim the reward. How scary is that?
I want you to take out a patrol, see where this leads. I'll disable the party immediately.
So guys, it was at this point in the timeline when Sub-Inspector Davidson assembled a team of 8 police and 2 black trackers to hunt down the Ben Hall gang. They made their way north to Forbes after a tip-off from Mick Connolly, also known as Goobang Mick, which was Ben Hall's friend, and he sold them out for the reward. Gilbert and Dunn arrived first, but they got spooked when they saw some stockmen from a neighbouring farm. So they started heading south to John Dunn's grandfather's house, hoping to catch Ben Hall along the way. But Hall arrived at the meeting place on his own, and, well, you know what happens next. That's where he's ambushed. Completely surrounded, Hall makes a run for it, but he can only get so far from the wounds of all the shots fired by the police. Even when he was completely disabled, his last words were, "Stop, I'm wounded." But that didn't stop him from firing the last volley of shots that ended his life and made his name legend. Police caught up with Gilbert and Dunn a short time later at Binalong, and that's where they made their last stand. Gilbert was shot through the heart and died instantly. John Dunn escaped that day, but he was captured a year later in Dubbo, where he's to go to Sydney to stand trial for the murder of Constable Nelson. Alright guys, we've got the story here, what the Ben Hall gang was doing here, but I've got to show you something. Right across the road is this wicked artwork. I'm going to park the dark horse in front of it and get a bit of a picture. Oh, look at this. Here comes the rain. Things are about to get interesting. Check this out, man. What is this? This is like something straight out of Lord of the Rings. Something you'll find in Fangorn Forest. This is wicked. Alright guys, I'm back in Sydney, just about to go and do the city run so we can get all the info on John Dunn. Man, 3 months have passed and we've had floods, power crisis after crisis after crisis. But anyway, we'll get into more on that in some upcoming videos, but for now, let's go find John Dunn.
Alright guys, we're in the suburbs. We're just making our way into the city. Our first stop, the Darlinghurst Jail, because after John Dunn was captured, he was convicted for the murder of Constable Nelson and sentenced to prison. But he was sentenced to hang. So we'll see the place where it all happened.
The old Darlinghurst Jail operated between 1840 and 1912. For 72 years it stood as a constant reminder that Sydney was a convict town, and 76 people have been executed at its gallows, the very place that John Dunn would spend his last moments. At 9 o'clock in the morning of the 19th of March 1866, the jail's death bells would ring to signal forth the prisoner to be executed, and in this case, the execution of John Dunn. So I got in here, but I really don't know which buildings which you need a proper guide to find out what's what. So what happened was, after he was hung here at this spot, he got taken to the Devonshire cemetery. So let's go have a look. It's not there anymore because it closed down in the early 1900s, but we'll see what we can find there and see if we can find out the people that were buried there, where they went. So might have to look into some government records and see what we can find. Let's make a move.
There's like a bus depot. You're not allowed to be in here, but we always follow the rules.
Alright guys, so the old Darlinghurst Jail is turned into the National School of Arts, and there's a lot of people in there and it's very hard to film. So there's a lot of works going on in there too. And there's a spooky feel to the place. I mean, you know, it used to be a prison and people have died there too. And there's even an area where was the old gallows, and it's all there. There's no public access to it, so you need to like book in a tour, and there's no tours at the moment because of COVID and everything else. But anyway, we got what we could. Right across in here used to be the Devonshire Street Cemetery. Look at that, it's all railway now. They closed it down in the early 1900s and laid the rails over, moved Redfern Station out that way and built Central Station. It'll be amazing what you'll find under there, eh? I reckon there's like tunnels, there could be secret tunnels. I mean, everyone's heard about the secret tunnels under Sydney. That's always fascinated me. I've always been trying to find it. So I'll see what I can find in there. Can't get in there because the gate's locked, but things like that hasn't stopped us in the past. So this is the final resting place of bushranger John Dunn, buried somewhere in here, which was a Devonshire Street cemetery. But it isn't the final resting place, because when the cemetery closed down, they dug him up and they sent him somewhere else. I had a quick look at some government records, see what I could find, and what I found was some people went to Rookwood Cemetery and some others at Botany. Guess which cemetery John Dunn has gone to? Anyway, let's get there and see if we can find his final resting place. We're here, Botany Cemetery. But where do we go? This looks like a pretty new section. We have to find the old section. We'll do a lap, see if we can find anything that resembles like an old section. It could be in there. They look like really old tombstones, so that's worth having a look. Yeah, 1800s. Maybe we came to the right place. Oh, this is worth having a look. They look pretty old. Look at this, guys. Arthur Phillip. At least it's a good day for it. Yeah, John Dunn. Look at this. This is it, guys. John Dunn died 19th of March 1866, 19 years old. Bushranger, hung at Darlinghurst Jail. Well, we found him, guys. It's just a kid, 19 years old, hung for the murder of Constable Nelson. Look, at the end of the day, they chose their path. Still, I don't think it's right, like what happened, especially Ben Hur. I mean, you saw how they hunted him down. Even when the Felons Apprehension Act wasn't even into effect yet, they still went after him, and they made sure that they shot him till he died, over 30 times. Yeah, it's a sad story. I mean, but that's the life of a bushranger, I guess. John Dunn's final resting place, Botany Cemetery. Guys, unfortunately we have reached the end of our amazing adventure. Big thanks to you guys, the subscribers, and all the friends we've made along the way. Over 1,000 Ks around New South Wales, following in the footsteps of Ben Hur and learning the raids that they did and places they visited, bringing to life a piece of Australian history from an era that's all but been forgotten, and ultimately revisiting the memory of some of the most famous outlaw bushrangers in the country. The memory of Ben Hall, Johnny Gilbert, and John Dunn. You always get that feeling, you know, like when you come to these places, and damn, it's sad and it's exciting at the same time, like the excitement of finding him, but then you see the final resting place and a sad feeling comes over you, especially when you've been following his story and what he went through and how he ended up here. So well, I'm going to end this video here, guys. There's more to come. One final note, the total Ks, 1,198, so nearly 1,200 Ks. Not a bad adventure overall. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I want to thank all the new subscribers that jumped on board. It's really helped me out big time. Big thank you to you guys. If you want to see more, you know what to do, and we'll see you on the next one. That didn't go as planned. I was supposed to kick it up and catch it. And oh my god, just walked up in front of me and I put the mask on and they were looking at me like, what the hell? The gold coaches from the old days, transporting the gold from the goldfields to Bathurst to Sydney. These are the new school ones. Let's go.